Welcome to a new episode of the Amista podcast, First Sip, then Sup. Although today it is more like First Sip, then Boomi this time. This episode, we dive into the world of digital integration, intelligent workplace design, and AI-driven innovation. And we're doing that with a very special guest, Robert van Bentum. With a strong background in integration platforms, including his previous role at Boomi, Robert is now contributing his expertise at Koninklijke Ahrend, an international leader in sustainable office furniture and workplace solutions. Ahrend has a rich heritage dating back to 1896, when the company began in Amsterdam selling drawing boards and office supplies. Over time, it evolved into a global design and manufacturing powerhouse known for combining craftsmanship, innovation, and iconic industrial design. Today, Ahrend operates in more than 20 countries, offering collaborative, sustainable, and data-driven workplace solutions for office, learning, healthcare, and retail environments. With Robert's unique perspective, combining hands-on integration experience, Boomi expertise, and a deep understanding of organizational challenges, he is the ideal guest to discuss how Boomi supports Ahrendt's digital journey and how AI is reshaping data, processes, and the future of work. Robert, welcome.
Thank you.
We've known each other since quite some time. To some of the people in the audience, you are new. Some of them will know you from your career at Boomi. And currently, I know you as my counterpart, contact person, key stakeholder at Ahrend. You are an Amista customer. We are a proud Ahrend supplier. Can you, as an introduction, maybe walk us through your career journey and more specifically, how you moved from integration consulting into your current role at Koninklijke Ahrend?
Yep, I can tell you that. It's quite surprising. I didn't do anything in IT when I started. I studied biology, so but not a lot of work was there for me to do. So I switched over in IT in the 90s from the last century. It's a long time ago already. And I did an internal training course in an IT company of 100 days, and where you got all the aspects of IT learned by consultants, but also by professional trainers. So I got really interested by it straight away. I found you could build solutions for people and make life easier by automating. And from there on, I ended up quite quickly in web content management systems, so enterprise level. I was a technical consultant for an American company and traveled all over Europe to visit enterprise organizations to maintain their data on their websites from a single source of server. So that was really interesting. And I love to travel, and it was great to seeing all these insights of all these different companies and getting tours of factory grounds and stuff like that. So really enjoyed that. Within that role, I also moved to Australia. I lived in Australia for 9 years, doing the same work basically. Had my own business there, consulting enterprise organizations how to do their web content management in a proper way. And when I came back to Europe, I wanted to do something else. So I ended up in data management. I didn't want to be a technical consultant at that time anymore. I thought I could do better in a more sales-related role, so I looked for a pre-sales role. And at that time, I was hired by Informatica, also a well-known organization now part of some other business. But there I learned what integration is, cloud integration, but also master data management, product information management, and all those type of related subjects. I got specialized there in being the pre-sales for master data management. I did that for a couple of years, and then was asked by Boomi to come work for them as a pre-sales consultant. I did that, and I built a career in that internally to an advisory role, where I more advise enterprise organizations to how to use integration platforms, but also partners, how to be better in implementing Boomi or selling Boomi. And so I had a very diverse role, and I really enjoyed it. And after a couple of years, I moved away from that, and I started doing business for myself. Now I'm basically a consulting, advising Boomi customers how to do better with Boomi. A lot of the customers have very basic installations, and but the Boomi platform can do so much more for them. So I'm advising currently the Koninklijke Ahrend on how to do better and more efficient, basically, their integration processes with the Boomi platform, and of course with your guys' help as well. That's really short. My career of almost 30 years.
I mainly know you from your period at Boomi and these days at Koninklijke Ahrend. Boomi, when you look at the platform, the company is evolving very, very fast. What keeps you passionate about the integration, data connectivity, and I would say digital transformation, apart from the speed? It's always a different story. Every day is different. The storytelling of Boomi also changes basically overnight, every now and then. So what is your angle? What keeps you passionate about integration?
Well, I worked for a couple of different companies, and like you say, the marketing department thinks every year of a new slogan that is very key in that time of period. But what keeps me interesting in basically doing anything in the IT world and integration is a big passion. It's you can help people. I'm a pleaser, basically. I want to help organizations to do better and make their IT life easier, so they can do their business better. To give an example, I was at a Belgian company that imported electrical tools, and their salespeople were working like 80% of their time creating Excel sheets of the list of products that they have. For that company, at that time I was working for Informatica, we implemented an MDM system or a product information management system for them. While the salespeople didn't have to do that anymore. It was just one press on the button and they got the whole list of all the products that he needed. And I still remember he saying, what should I do now with my time? I said, well, sell. That's what you do. You are a salesperson. So to make life easier for companies to do better, and don't have to think about what happens at the background, with all the data that they have and where it has to go, and the finance departments need to have the right information at the right time and things like that. They shouldn't be thinking about that every day. They should be doing what the company needs to do, and don't think about what happens on the IT level.
Mm-hmm. Advising companies, advising Ahrend these days. About Ahrend, by the way, a long and fascinating history since 1896, as I mentioned during the introduction. What defines the company today? How are you different in this very specific industry?
Well, Ahrend is a long-term user of Dutch design. We have some very famous people in not only in architecture but also interior design, and we use the Dutch design together with economical proper furniture to benefit basically employees to have a healthy work environment, to be satisfied in working in a good workplace, and in that way we can provide all our customers with good furniture, but also nice looking furniture.
Ahrend these days operates in over 20 countries with a broad portfolio, as you just mentioned. How does the company manage such a large international ecosystem? And you are currently also in the go live of the ERP, a lot of projects. We also discussed it before diving into this podcast. So how does this go?
Currently we have 3 major manufacturing plants. So in the Netherlands, in Czech Republic, and in China. They all run their own ERP environments, basically, some efficient, some self-made even. But together with the organizations locally, and they support basically domestic, but also the surrounding countries. Together, we have all the processes synchronized in the supply chain. So with all the IT that we have available, everything is connected globally, and we can serve the 20 countries that we're active in at the moment in a very sufficient way in that way.
Mm-hmm. A question from a bit of a commercial angle, but a strategic important one. What are the growth ambitions for Ahrend for the coming years?
We're not a company that wants to grow. We're not like an American tech company that needs to grow, but we are a company that grows naturally. We want to serve our customers with good furniture, and in that way, we can make sure that we are a healthy company and successful at the same time.
Mm-hmm. Okay, makes sense. When we talk, Robert, about it could be basically the title of this podcast. Transformation and integration within Ahrend with an iPaaS platform. The company, we've also seen it very closely embraced this digital transformation, including integrated customer journeys and personalized e-commerce. What role do data and integration play in enabling all this?
Very crucial, because a product is like a table or a chair. It's an object, but if you look at the data level, it's millions of parts that we have in all our furniture together, and that information needs to be stored in a very structured and understandable way to make it possible for our factories to build them. So when somebody orders it online or through salespersons, that it needs to be recorded in such a way that the order is readable on paper, but also for the manufacturer, for the factory floors to understand what type of couch or what type of desk the customer ordered, and that need to be built in the right way. So for that, we have data storage in like data management systems. And we use Boomi for our integrations between all the different applications that we have running around this whole process.
Of course, there was a pre-Boomi era within the organization. Every company has a use case or does not have a use case to move to an integration platform. Which challenges can we say existed before implementing Boomi, and how is the platform helping to address and solve those issues you experienced before today?
I can only dream of what was happening before Boomi was introduced. I wasn't working at the company at that time, but they have a very old ERP system in the Netherlands. At least they have some home-built ERP systems. So what I can imagine that there is a lot of file sharing going on. We still have some file shares running where just little files are put there and transferred to somewhere else to be picked up. So that is a very, very error-prone system. We also have a lot of issues with the old software, of course, that there are not a proper quality checks going on. A lot of manual fixes are required to keep them going. So that's why we have introduced Boomi to make life easier, to make automating transfers and stuff like that. Still, we're transferring files with Boomi, but that we have to do that until the old systems are gone. But now the Boomi platform at least gives us predictability and control over these processes, and we can easily monitor it now by just looking at a screen. When all the lights are green, it's good. And when something goes wrong, we can adapt really quickly on that.
Yeah, I think the challenges you mentioned are the ones we are quite familiar with as a delivery company, as a partner of Boomi as well. To make it maybe a bit more tangible, what are the key integrations or some examples of key integrations within the organizations currently?
Yeah, currently, well, we're implementing a new ERP systems that are going to be working globally. So a lot of the old ERP systems will be outdated soon. But the key is, of course, the ERP, which runs basically everything from the manufacturing and the logistics part of things. We have, if we're calling names, we have SharePoint for all our documents. So everything is collected there. And the customers can also look up into SharePoint to see their invoices, to see their order documents and stuff like that. They have all their own client sites. As a third party, we have Salesforce, of course, for our suppliers and our customer management part. The orders are basically coming in Salesforce and then are transferred by Boomi to our ERP system, which is IFS, the new one. And together with SharePoint, it's a triangle of three major systems that are working closely together, that's sharing data with each other.
Okay. Robert, I had the pleasure to visit the Boomi commercial hub in Barcelona last week with some colleagues. It's always super fun to listen to our colleagues over there about the roadmap. What is the perspective of Boomi this year, the next couple of years? Soon we will have the EMEA Partner and Customer Summit in London. It's going to be in June 2026. Having been on the inside a while ago already, what do you feel makes Boomi stand out compared to other integration platforms? Why is Boomi so relevant? And I have the feeling even more today than compared to a couple of years ago.
Yeah, well, it's only 3 years ago that I worked there, so that's not that long ago. But yeah, so the platform in its own is, if you compare it to others, the one thing that makes a big difference is that Boomi doesn't provide application software. So it's not like SAP with their integration layer or Salesforce with an integration layer. So you can stay independent in that way, that you're not hooked on some other applications that people have, and you can just use it wherever you like to use it, and it can connect to all those systems as well. So, but if you see the Boomi platform is it's almost 25 years old already when it all started, and they come from the EDI business. So EDI, very important, data interchange. So the foundation of the integration platform was already there. And still is an important part of the platform. Together with the growing trends in all different types of connectivity, APIs are coming, and now with agentic AI and things like that. So anything that is trending, Boomi hooks onto that, and not always the best way, but and over time they definitely will get there and will focus on what the market is doing. So there will never be a trending organization that will jump on if somebody says something, oh, we have to do this next month. They have that software implemented. No, they look at the market, what the market is doing, and where their certain requirements for security or things like that are looking for, and then based on that, they will extend the platform with that. And I think still some element of the platform are a bit underwhelmed, and they're not very focused on, but they're still there in the platform, and they can benefit organizations if they need that.
Mm-hmm. Looking at the market and what the market is doing, looking at customers and what they need, basically. Boomi quite recently announced some new advancements like the AI Agent Studio. You are experimenting with it yourself, but also enhanced API management. What impact do you see these have on enterprises? Or let me maybe elaborate a bit on that question. What I've experienced since the day I started at Amista, which is 4 years ago, Boomi was mainly an integration platform. Today there is so much more. There is AI, there is API, Data Hub. Huge investments have also been made on the data management side. What impact do you think it will have on Ahrend, but also on other companies, enterprise level, mid-market level?
Well, if I first look at Ahrend, they started very small with Boomi, just synchronizing some files and
Correct.
some data between systems, and now they're expanding it to more control the whole processes of the ordering system, for instance, is one key that is that's completely managed now by Boomi, by picking up information from Salesforce and sending it to IFS, and do a lot of other things, connecting with banks and finance systems and stuff like that to capture basically everything that is related to an order to do that. Initially, that was not the plan. It was just transfer, but now they see that the platform can do so much more. So we might even extend to other functionalities like API management or like the Data Hub, which is a brilliant little tool, I think, in the platform. which is not used by a lot of people, but it can do magical things for you if you're looking for that type of functionality. And if you look at other enterprises or mid-market enterprises, organizations, enterprises have multiple tools most of the time. They don't have one integration platform. They have multiple available. But it is always, if you need something specific, then have a look in the Boomi platform. If it's there, it has loads of functions and functionalities, features and functionalities in there that people are not aware of. And it's pretty easy to hook on. If you already have it, then it's really easy. And you can use that functionality from the day you pay your license, basically. And in that way, you can not only extend your integration efforts in your organization, but also your organization yourself. If you do merger acquisitions, then it's a brilliant tool to do migrations with. A lot of customers don't know that, but you can do a migration. It's easy to do it, and to hook it on to your existing processes. So for that, if you have a challenge in your organization and you're thinking, what can I use? Then definitely first look at the iPaaS of Boomi, because it can do much more than other iPaaSs can.
Mm-hmm. Makes sense. Talking about AI, from your background, how does it or how could it potentially influence integration projects? I'm thinking about data quality, automation of workflows, and so on and so on.
You said the right word already, data quality. Basically, everything you do, if it's AI or master data management or API management or whatever, data quality is key, because as long as you have your data in order and of a high quality, then any type of functionality you put on top of it will work better. I saw recently on LinkedIn an image coming by. It's like if you have shit going in, then shit comes out. Well, that's very understandable for everybody. But basically, it still counts for everything. AI is same. If you feed AI wrong information, it starts hallucinating, and it will tell you a thing that you have like, is that true, or where did that come from? And then you have to look it up, and you say, oh, that's BS. So, but yeah, it's the same everywhere. And I think if you're going towards, or you're looking for something to do, at Ahrend, for instance, we are looking at AI as well in applications itself. Especially product management is looking for it, because that is a really complex business, and they're really struggling to get that in order. But also with Boomi, we're looking for the delivery date, for instance. That is an interesting field, because if you do an order, everybody who books online or orders online, he wants to know when it's delivered. And customers of 100 desks or 1,000 desks also want to know when it's going to be delivered. Now it's like a rough estimate on how production is going at this time, and we can do an estimate on what the delivery time will be. But yeah, it might be that in some of the factories a machine is broken or need to be replaced or things like that, and that will delay the delivery time. But we don't know that in the office, because that just happened, for instance. So what we're looking for is building an AI agent that goes look at every instance of the production line where that product is going through, to see if there are any delays or what the delivery time is and things like that, and then do a much better prediction of what the delivery time will be. And that will be when you place the order, and at the background all that information will be collected then and presented to you. It's a trial, but we'll see how that goes, and I think it's very beneficiary for the end users, but also for the people at Ahrend internally.
Is it? When talking about this agent specifically, what does the roadmap look like? Do you have like this is where we are today, tomorrow we want to have to achieve this? Any idea when you want to effectively start using it? Because it takes a lot of trial and error. Everyone needs to be aligned. AI...
currently it's a bit of a side project for us to keep the fun in the project.
I can imagine.
We are doing a big rollout at the moment of the ERP system globally, and that's going to take a lot of effort. And for that, these type of small things we pop up as application manager or integration specialist. We just do this to see if it's possible, and then to see if we can benefit from it on the long term. So for now, ERP is a main priority. And all the other things that we have time for around is just for fun at the moment. But if we can make something solid out of it, we're definitely going to use it, yeah.
Mm-hmm. How do you see Boomi and AI reinforcing one another moving forward? We already briefly elaborated on this question. Where is the challenge, do you think, for Boomi? Because there was a lot of niche players, a lot of AI niche players. Everyone is talking about it. You also mentioned that the tech vendor implementing the new ERP also has their own Boomi, their own AI agent side project. So is from my perspective, it's quite complicated to select which solution to use and test because there are so many options.
Yeah, and so what Boomi is focusing on basically is enabling AI agents for
Correct.
you. So you can build your own within your landscape, but you can also hook on to other agents and manage that in one location. So, and you need to realize that Boomi is focusing on moving data around. So, or make it possible to connect to data that is required for instance, an AI agent. So it is more in the connectivity and collecting and presenting data than the AI engine behind it. So it's not that you can build your own, but they hook on to existing AI vendors to collect that information or get the power from there. But having integrations into other places, it's a subject for Boomi to have that in the platform available for you. So yeah, what you see is now you can do fun stuff in your own landscape, of course, with your AI agents to get that going, but you can also hook to external ones and get the benefit of those. And then keep that together in one platform is, of course, beautiful and easy to maintain.
Okay. Robert, before ending this podcast, we always want to give something back to the audience, which we have been doing for the past 20-25 minutes, but some advice, some lessons learned, best practices. From your perspective, what is the most underestimated challenge when it comes to integration? You've seen this many times before within the Ahrend organization, but also as an advisor to many other companies when you were at the other side of the desk, basically.
Yeah, so what I encounter a lot is that customers have a certain problem that they want to solve. But it's also it's always a practical thing. It's like, this is not working, or we have a new system, we need to get the data out. But you should be thinking the long term. You always have to look way further ahead and put down on paper what you want to achieve. Because if you don't have a goal to go to, then Boomi or any integration platform stays a couple of connections and that's it. It runs okay, fine. But if you put your roadmap to it with your whole IT organization, we want to automate as much as possible in our organization. We want to free up people to do the real job instead of fixing data and things like that. So, yeah, my biggest advice is always, what do you want to achieve? Because if you don't know what you want to achieve, then fooling around in the margin, basically, and not having the longer term goal ahead of you.
Yeah, from that perspective, you mentioned data a couple of times. Boomi presents itself in the market as the data activation company. So does Amista. You also underlined the importance of correct data at Ahrend. So that sounds key. Is there anything else, some piece of advice you would like to give to companies commencing or investigating, selecting, buying, working with an integration platform?
Well, I always say look for the right people that can advise you, because like at Ahrend, we build furniture. We don't do IT. We build furniture. That's our key business. So if you are looking for solutions that you want to have in your IT landscape, ask the experts, and we contacted you guys to provide us the information that we needed. And I think that's very important to get connected with people that can help you with it and tell you, have experience with multiple integration platforms, but ask you, what is your goal? What do you want to achieve? And what are your requirements on or your landscape or limitations and things like that? there's a long list of questions you first have to ask before you start looking for what type of vendor will fit my bill. And you can't do that alone as a customer. You have to have a partner with that. And I even worked for a vendor, but as a customer, I always independent advice is always better than directly from one specific vendor. So I was always go to partners that have multiple iPaaS platforms, for instance, under the hood, to have a more objective answer.
Well, Robert, I think that's it. We covered quite a lot of topics. Ahrend, the initiatives within the organization on an integration level, also on an ERP level, the importance of data, of course. AI, a feature offered by Boomi, but by many others as well. So a lot of food for thought, I would basically
Absolutely.
say. Thank you so much. It's great to see the collaboration between Amista and Ahrend today and in the future. You mentioned some initiatives on the roadmap in 2026 and beyond, of course. So thanks again for this opportunity.
You're welcome.
And voila, up to the next Amista podcast. Thank you.